my brother and my best friend, Minister of Higher Education, Law and Parliamentary Affairs, Government of Karnataka, Sri Jayachandraji, other dignitaries on the dais, and the invitees. Good morning to all. While agreeing with the remarks made by the Honorable Minister at the end of his speech with regards to approach by the Government of India and the state governments and investments to be made on higher education, I am disagreeing with one particular point. Telangana is a rich state and they are able to spend more money on higher education. Of course, our plan budget is somewhat better. Ours is a youngest state and we are mobilizing our resources and we are yet to know what exactly the resources. And this year, 2016-17, we have presented a budget of rupees 1,15,000 crores and nearly 18,000 crores we are spending on total education. And I want to frankly submit, the major amount of the budget is going to establishment only, not for development. So these things we have to keep it in mind, and as rightly said by our Ranganath ji, now it is the time for us to focus on education in general and higher education in particular. In many aspects, India is lacking behind. When we take up the enrollment, just now you have given the figures, and this I raised in the Ministers' Conference in New Delhi, and I spoke with the Union Minister also. As far as enrollment in higher education is concerned, India is far behind. And even that enrollment, there is a gender gap. Again, when you compare men and women, there is a big gap. And now, majority universities shifted their focus from research to other activities. Universities are not doing a research which is useful to the nation or to the world. The value of classroom teaching also gone out. We are not able to get good teachers and we are not able to give or impart good education. I want to share one particular point with you. The inequalities in education leads to inequalities in society. This is a very dangerous situation. We have seen inequalities in economy. We have seen inequalities in society on social background. And we have seen inequalities in politics. And now a stage has come. There are inequalities in education. Inequalities in enrollment, inequalities in facilities being given, inequalities in being the education environment is created, inequalities in absorbing levels, inequalities in teaching skills. All this is leading to inequalities in education and that will lead to inequalities in society. As a result, All these years we were talking about literacy gaps. All these years we are talking about enrollment, and all these years we are talking about standards. Now we have to concentrate how to bridge the inequalities in education in all levels, starting from school education to university. If we are not going to do this, again India will be far behind in education when compared to all other developed and developing countries. Really, it was a surprise for me. The enrollment ratio in South Korea is 98%, you said. Whereas in India, it is just 20 to 25%. And if this is the gap, how India will go forward? On this, we have to concentrate on this. The policymakers and the governments has to concentrate. It's very unfortunate to see recently the best universities and the best institutions were published by some organization. Worldwide universities and institutions, their rankings. Our Indian universities and our national institutes never find place in that ranking. In first 100 institutions which are there across the world, no single institution from India could find its place in that list. That is the sorry state of affairs of education in India. Yesterday, the NDA government, after completing 2 years of term in the office, they have celebrated across the country. And we were given a hope that Prime Minister will come out or spell out a policy on girl child education. That was the view, that was the opinion given by the media. After going through the speech of the Hon'ble Prime Minister, nothing was spelled out. He was talking about girl child education. But what is the action plan? What is Government of India is thinking on girl child education? How they want to go ahead? How state governments has to contribute or take up the challenge? That was not mentioned in his speech. Very unfortunate. If you go to Chhattisgarh, if you go to Jharkhand, if you go to Bihar, if you go to Madhya Pradesh, the female literacy rate is very less, and the enrollment of girls in educational institutions is far, far less. We are not addressing that particular point. To improve the girl child education, we have to focus and we have to open more number of schools for girls, more number of residential schools for girls, and we have to encourage them, we have to promote that. That is not being done. But I want to say one thing. While celebrating Dr. B.R. Ambedkar 125th birth anniversary in Telangana, Honorable Chief Minister has laid foundation stone to erect a statue of height 125 feet, bronze statue, a first of its kind in India. And at the same time, from the same dais, he announced, this year we are going to start 250 new residential schools from 5th class to 12th class in English medium with CBSE syllabus exclusively for girls in Telangana. And on that, we are going to spend 5,000 crores. Each institute costs us 20 crores for infrastructure, and nearly 2 to 3 crores for recurring expenditure. 2016, 17, 17, 18, and 18, 19, during these 3 years, we want to establish these 250 schools in full shape. We want to spend 5,000 crores on that, and we want to recruit nearly 7,500 new teachers for this project. And really, I am happy to announce one more thing. And from this year onwards, we are going to have residential degree college for women, first of its kind in the nation. Nowhere you will find a residential degree college for women. The reason being, after intermediate, parents are hesitating to send their girls to far-off towns for degree. Parents are showing very much interest in residential school system. So that's why we are planning and we are starting 30 degree colleges exclusive for women in residential system. Particularly while coming to ICT, throughout the world, wherever societies are adopting, institutions are adopting ICT, they are growing fast. Here also in India, all these years we talk about literacy. Now a time has come where to talk about digital literacy. Not only literacy, now onwards we have to talk about digital literacy. Again, India will be in the back seat as far as digital literacy is concerned. Now we have to concentrate on digital literacy and we have to promote ICT for taking India forward. Our Indian people are very intelligent, adapt to new technologies, but we have to create an environment. And you might be finding in many places, particularly in Telangana, in rural areas, an agricultural laborer, a woman working in fields or moving with cattle, holds a cell phone in her hand. And many times I asked a woman holding a cell phone and doing some field work or moving with the cattle, how you are going to use this phone? She said, if I touch 2, it will go to my husband. If I touch 3, that will go to my son. If I touch 4, it goes to my daughter-in-law. So they developed a little software, and through that woman is using that cell phone. And she is able to adopt the technology. Similarly, digital literacy also, women can adopt. We are talking about how to improve the literacy levels among women. On parallel basis, while teaching language or while making them literates, we can also make them digital literates. That will help the rural folk to a larger extent. So, information communication technology not only can be used in higher education, it can also be used everywhere. Now we have to plan the universities, the policymakers, the industry has to plan on this. If you go to Western countries, even in US, every child has an iPad. In every school, every child has an iPad. And through iPad, they learn many things. That iPad costs if we manufacture in a big way, that iPad costs nearly 2,000 to 3,000 rupees. And in Tamil Nadu, the parties are announcing so many soaps to the voters, laptops and everything. Instead of that, if they give iPads, that will be helpful to the students. And now it is the responsibility of all of us how to use ICT in education, how to make our India digital literate, and how our higher education can move forward. And now it is the duty of both Gyanachandra and myself where to raise this issue at the national level. Unfortunately, they are cutting down the financial support being given to the states on education. Earlier we used to have model schools. That scheme was totally remote, and the burden felt on the state governments. That burden fell on the state governments. And now, so far, they have not came forward with any special scheme in education. Not even they are planning also. So, now we had to emphasize how to take forward the technological changes coming across the world, and how can we adapt to those technological changes in India. I hope such gatherings will help the India or will help the policymakers how to move forward as far as higher education is concerned and use of ICT is concerned in education. Thank you very much. And I have given my points